We talk all the time about how I create monthly budgets, but let me share with you all how I actually create a paycheck to paycheck budget. But first, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Fortress Debt. Shout out to Fortress Debt for partnering with me on today's video. If you are feeling overwhelmed by debt, whether it's credit cards, student loans, or other financial pressures, I've got some exciting news for you. Fortress is a revolutionary AI tool designed to help guide you out of debt swiftly and effectively. Step 1 is to explain your debt situation. Simply share details about your debt, and Fortress will use that information to tailor a plan just for you. Step 2, receive personalized debt advice. You will get custom strategies and connections to top solutions and partners. And then finally, there's step 3, which is to be debt-free in months. Fortress offers more than debt management. It also helps with budgeting, such as creating and sticking to a budget. It helps with goal setting, debt management, and it offers customized solutions that are tailored to help keep you on track. So if you want or need a personalized, customized plan and some tips and strategies to help you get out of debt and to become debt-free, consider checking out Fortress AI. I will have a link down below in the description box so you can get started. Shout out to Fortress Debt for partnering with me on that portion of today's video. Now back to my regular content. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all how I budget from paycheck to paycheck. Now, I am a paycheck to paycheck budgeter. I don't know what it is, but it gives me this sense of fulfillment, and it really just gets me going. I cannot explain it, but I really just like knowing how much money we are going to have from one payday to the next. Now, as it stands, we both receive 2 paydays each month, and they are on different dates. They don't really line up, but it kind of shakes out to where, because we each get a paycheck every 2 weeks, and they're falling on different days or different dates, we are ending up with a payday each week, which is right up my alley. I'm actually really grateful that although we do both work for public education, we work in different districts and the payout is different for, our salaries. So they're not lined up. And I really appreciate that, because that means that we don't go a week without having a payday. So here is an example of our monthly budget. And what we do there is we list out all of our income, and then we list out all of our bills and all of our expenses. When I'm talking about bills or thinking of bills, I think of the things that we have to pay for that have a due date attached to them. Think mortgage, electricity, water, sewer, those types of things. When I think of expenses, I think of the things that we have to pay for that don't actually have a due date. Think food, groceries, date night, personal spending, parking, those types of things. So this is our monthly budget, and we create that each and every month, and I actually show that on camera, but very rarely do I show us putting together or our paycheck to paycheck budget. So I want to show you how I do that right now. I use an app called Fudget. I am probably their greatest fan. I have been using Fudget for at least 6 years, if not longer, maybe like 7 years, maybe even longer than that. I'm honestly not sure. I just know that I discovered it a long time ago and I have been using it. If you're looking for a super intuitive type of budgeting app, this is not it. This is very, very simple. In fact, I like to use it for all types of short-term budgets, like holiday budgets or Christmas budgets or summer budgets, stuff like that. That's what I really like to use it for. But I do keep our monthly budget in here, or our paycheck to paycheck budget in here, and I reference this and update it throughout the month. I just really don't talk about it. I still use it though. I've been using it since the dawn of time, and I continue to use it even though I don't talk about it. So let's talk about Fudget. What you're looking at right now is August in my Fudget app. So this is our August budget, and it looks very simplistic right now. It looks very much like what I just showed you, just in a different app and with greens and reds and with color as opposed to black and white. But there are some features that I have not shown you or turned on so that you can really see why I use this app. So we're gonna talk about that, but I also wanna say that maybe you can create this using Google Sheets or Excel or Notion, and you can create something similar, some type of ledger to kind of keep up with all of your money, how much money you have at all times. I feel like that can easily be created, or you can just go download this app and do it the way that I'm doing it, because it is super, super simple. Okay, let me walk you through what you're looking at. First of all, everything in green is a payday. So just giving you a quick flick, then you see that there are 4 paydays, and then we have what's called rollover. Rollover is how much money is left in our main checking account at the beginning of each month. Sometimes that's a lot, sometimes it's not a lot. It really just depends on where we're at financially. Sometimes it might be $20, $50, sometimes it may be thousands. For August, it was actually thousands. So that's how much money we had in our rollover at the beginning of August. And then I get a payday on the 5th, my husband gets a payday on the 15th, I get another payday on the 20th, and then my husband gets a payday on the 31st. Now, I will have to tell you, between me and you, Budget has been acting a little weird lately. I feel like there are a few little glitches, but nonetheless, it still works beautifully. Okay, so we have talked about the income. Let's talk about expenses. You see gym, you see car payment, you see cable. All of these are our monthly expenses. This looks exactly like the budget that I have in Notion and the one that I just showed you. Right now, it's not looking too, revolutionary. It looks very much like something that you can create in your notes app on your phone or on paper, and with paper and pencil in a notebook. It does not look too revolutionary. However, I do want to show you one feature, and one feature is the chart. So this is actually a chart. So as you can see, there are categories for all of our bills and expenses, and it even shows percentages. You can also unselect other if you don't want similar items grouped. I kind of don't want that, so I'm gonna unselect the similar items. I think they had grouped together like cable, Apple Music, Netflix. I don't know how they determine what is a like item or what is a similar item, but I'm just going to uncheck that because I do not want that feature. The only thing on here that really stands out that we need to discuss is the shopping category. We have a shopping category, and that is a category that encompasses everything that we're going to spend money on that does not have a due date. So all of our expenses, remember, food, groceries, personal allowance, parking fees, all of that comes from or is accounted for within the shopping category. We budget like this for a number of reasons. One of those reasons is because back in the day when we got married and when we were combining our income and our expenses and budgeting together, I was finding that, let's say we go to Walmart, which is one of our favorite places, we might spend money on food, we might spend money on, makeup, or we might spend money on dog food or whatever the case is. And we would then have to come home and try to figure out how much money was spent from each category. But then I decided one day that I wasn't going to have a food budget or a restaurant's budget or a groceries budget. I was just going to have a shopping budget, because at the core, we don't really care how much we're spending for our expenses so long as it doesn't exceed a certain amount. Now, sometimes it exceeds a certain amount. In fact, I'd be willing to bet every month it exceeds the budgeted amount that we have, but that's because we do have side hustles and we bring in additional money. And it could be thousands and thousands of extra money coming in. And so for which case we might allot ourselves to buy something maybe that we have always wanted or something like that. And of course it's going to come from the shopping budget, because that's for all of those expenses like we just talked about, all of those expenses or things that we're buying that don't have a due date, basically anything except a bill. So as you can see, all of the expenses are listed here. They're all categorized and I love them. But my favorite part about budget is that, first of all, you can turn on the date column if you have any dates in here. I don't actually have dates in here because I will just put the due date right beside the actual budgeted category. So for gym, our gym bill is due on the 1st of the month. So I just put a 1 beside it. That's what that is. But my favorite part of this is the running balance. Nope, it was already on and I turned it off. Now I'm turning it back on. So you see here the running balance, and this running balance is the light of my life. It lets me know how much is in our bank account at all times. So let's say it's the 1st of August and we're rolling over $2,801.14. Well, on the 1st of the month, we have our gym bill due at $62. Well, if you subtract the 62 or the gym bill from the rollover amount, then you get $2,739.14. And that is what it is showing us. It does the math for me, which I really, really, really enjoy. So what I will do, by the way, all of the income amounts for our paydays are not real amounts, but all of our expenses are our real expenses and our real amounts, but those are just mock amounts. But let's say that my payday actually is $2,000. I will just come in here, update it, add the additional 1,000, and then it will update all of the rest of the running balances for me. So I don't actually ever have to do any math or just kind of wonder what that's gonna look like. So long as we're in the green, we're always on budget or we're doing better than budgeted. If we were going to be over budget, like let's say we didn't get a payday for the 15th, so I'm gonna put that at 0, and we didn't get a payday for the 20th, I'm gonna put that at 0 as well. Well, we still wouldn't be in the red. Let's take away some more money. Let's say that we spent $3,000 on shopping instead of $2,000. Then we would be in the red, as you can see at the bottom, $235.15. That means that we would not have enough money in that month to account for all of our bills and expenses as it is. Again, this is a little different because we do have side hustles that we earn money from each and every month. But let's just say we were going off of our full-time jobs, which is what we do. We actually do create a budget based off of just our full-time jobs income or our salaries. So if we were doing that, then you would see that we would actually be in the red, and this will update at any point. Or let's say our mortgage was $5,000. Let's say we were paying multiple payments because we were behind. You would see all of that afterwards is going to be in the red. That means we would be in the red for the rest of the month, as it is how I'm showing you right now. So the reason why I really like this app is because it always updates me and lets me know how much money is going to be in my bank account. So I don't have to wonder, I don't actually have to, go keep checking on my bank account. I don't have to do any of that because this app tells me. And what I do is I will go and cross-reference. I'll look at this and see, okay, how much is budget projecting that I'm supposed to have in my bank account? Well, let me go look and make sure that's what it is. Budget tells me how much money I have, not only now, but also in the future and as the month goes on, which that is why it is a top tier app and one of my favorite apps to use. I use it literally every day. I don't think a day passes, maybe a day passes every now and again, but hardly do any days pass where I don't look at my budget and see what's going on with our money, not only now, but what's gonna be going on in a week from now or 2 weeks from now. Obviously, when we create our budget, we make sure that we're in the green. We're in the red right now because I've just been messing with these numbers, something crazy. And so that's why we're in the red, but normally we're in the green. And so you saw originally, I think we had over $1,000 left over. So that lets me know that that's how much money we're supposed to have left over at the end of the month. And that's how much we can allocate towards anything else that we may want to spend money on. So maybe we put 1,000 towards debt, or 500 towards retirement, or 25 towards savings, whatever it is, it lets me know. And the cool thing is, as I'm updating these figures and putting in the right amounts, because sometimes I may have to do a little guesstimating, like I might guess that our water bill might be 75, but it ends up being 80 after we get the actual bill. This gives me the ability to come in to update it in real time, if you will, and get a real-time update on how that is going to impact our budget. How will spending a little bit more on shopping impact our budget? Well, I know because I can just update this ledger and see what happens. Or if we have some kind of random expense like a medical bill or anything like that, I can just come in here, easily press add expense, add in that expense, put in the amount of the expense, and see how that will impact our budget. So the way that I make sure we are effectively budgeting from paycheck to paycheck is just making sure that after I put in all of the exact paydays and all of the exact bills and expenses that I'm predicting, making sure that between one payday to the next, I am not in the red. If I'm in the red, that means that we're in trouble and that we're about to be short on some money and we have too many expenses with too little income. So as long as we are in the green from one payday to the next, given all of the expenses that are going to take place during that time frame, we are good. If we're in the red, then we have a problem. If we're in the red at any point in this process, when I'm updating our budget numbers, we are going to have a problem because that means we're going to be short and we're going to be running out of money before we run out of month. So that is budget in a nutshell. I talk about it pretty frequently because I really love Fudget and we go together, we're like this. And it will help you too, because I am a proponent and do recommend switching around your bill due dates if needed, because sometimes maybe the month is really top heavy, like all of our major bills are due at the top of the month, and it's really difficult to try to budget from one paycheck to the next whenever one part of the month may be, you know, a little heavy with expenses. So doing this might give you an idea of any bills or due dates that you need to switch around to better accommodate your budget. It's normally pretty simple to move around a due date. Companies don't really care. They don't really ask for much. If they allow you to do it, because some don't, then I urge you to do it if it is going to help your budget look a little better. So I do recommend you doing that. It's a very basic app, very simple, not a lot to it. I urge you to download it. And I hope that this was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys right back here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye guys.